know. I just feel like things just naturally evolve in the world and expand and contract. And I don't know. It's pretty. I mean, that was like a first time. There was like a couple Brazilians in the American surfer pole. I mean,
yeah.
And had freaking Gabriel thrown out a tweet, he would have won easily.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, someone just tap into his Instagram and he'd probably win that thing.
Hey,
It doesn't work like that.
when I started, when I was 15 years old, I made like $100 a week. And from surfing.
Speaking to the relativity of like the economy and what that pay grade was, it's still, even today, that would be considered not very much money at all, right?
Yeah. I think I got like $110 a week under the table from Sundeck when I was like 15 years old. I was stoked.
Yeah.
I mean, I went from having no money to having an extra $100 a week to pay for my lunches and stuff. You know? Yeah. Under the table. Not even
I got
paycheck.
that at the dub when I was washing dishes.
I'd get cash, so I was making
It's
like
hard.
$20 a day
Yeah.
basically for nothing.
I feel like
when you got nothing, that's great.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, speaking of that, that's another point of the thing is sort of the motivation and where it comes from. And we're speaking to that, like you mentioned, the Brazilians are coming up strong. The Australians have kind of always been there. But there's a lot of, the world's just kind of a bigger place. There's exposure to these guys that live in faraway parts of the world, and there's more opportunity. But, the drive and sort of the mentality that those guys have, what do you think the difference is, with the kids from America and then the kids coming, say, from Brazil or other parts of the world?
For some reason, there's always seemed to be more pride in if you're from Hawaii, Australia, or Brazil. Mm-hmm. The Europeans kind of got it there for a little bit. They kind of had their crew, when there's a bunch of those guys. Euroforce. But Brazilian Storm took them out. No, but
It's like a 1 year thing.
Yeah, for some reason you gotta. I think it's good to have that healthy competition and stuff, but for some reason, it just seems to me like there's not quite. There's an outlet more for free surfing and stuff now. I mean, you could be a professional free surfer and make millions of dollars, literally. When I was a kid, I saw success through competition, and through that I could make money and have a living and that kind of thing. And I don't know if that's necessarily the only route at this point,
Yeah.
They're obviously more driven. They might. I mean, Gabrielle and Philippe. None of them seem like they're. I mean, Adriano, to me, he seems like he's come from the least on the tour, and I don't think they have more drive than any of us. I think it's almost.
Are you serious?
I think it's I mean, they have.
So early that guy shows up at contest, bro. He's there like 2 weeks before Adriano. He goes to places like
that's
literally
what I'm saying.
2 weeks before.
He's
like,
the workhorse. Like, he's obviously the next level workhorse. But I think it's portrayed a little bit in the media that way because how their upbringing. We don't come. I mean.
It's natural though too. It's just nature. I mean,
Yeah.
you grow up in certain areas and you have certain
totally
desires. It creates a certain drive based on the environment you grow up in, for sure.
I agree.
I think it's super clear that it is, and I think the biggest problem we have is our national tour just sucks. And Australia's is great. Australia have the Pro Junior whole thing feeding them. We had the PSAA when I was coming up. I think it's no coincidence we had so many guys on tour that came straight out of the PSA.
Junior Series, does it exist in America anymore? Like, I swear to God, when I started, there was the Junior Series, like, coming out of NSSA, there was no Junior Series. Like, there's 2 events. You pretty much went straight on the QS and got lost for a while.
I think the biggest it ever got was when we were doing it. It was pretty.
Yeah,
big.
I felt like that.
It was a
I
big
wonder if it
deal.
was just like when we were younger, we felt that way, that everything was like bigger than it really was. Because I felt like NSSA was bigger than.
I mean, it is. Like,
and the juniors were like a bit more like there's a lot.
but I felt like it got better, and then it's kind of. But where were we?
Well, it's hard when you have
that's
like
good.
Philippe like
I think-
qualifying.
At 18.
Yeah, and then guys like are 19 like doing the juniors. It's like,
I think that's kind of like that.
I think they
thing.
changed that age,
Yeah,
actually.
they did. It's true.
18 now. It used to be 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I surfed the Pro Junior at Narrabeen, and Shano and I made the final, I was 19. I only made
first
it.
wave?
Yep. I only made it in that by a month. I was turned 20 a month later. So
That's how. Yeah, it'd been
it was
like that
19
for
and
a
under.
while.
Anything under 20.
I don't
back
think
then
that's
went-
changed.
I think there's tons of like opportunities for kids in America, like through NSSA and WSA, and there still are juniors and stuff.
Is there? Do you
I
feel like
think
there's?
that the QS we have like nothing there, like, and then even for like small QSs for guys to like get points or like for those kids that you know what I mean, they have to travel. Like
There's
that.
7 events in Brazil.
Yeah, like
City
3
Pro
primes
Am
there or
ain't
something like
cutting
that.
Yeah, I feel like there's kind of a step missing in America. Like you mentioned, the bringing them up through the even they have their board riders and then amateur events and then they have smaller pro events that lead. It's kind of the stepping stones seem more in place over there.
The
In
only
my
thing,
opinion, but I want to hear what you guys.
the only
And
thing
they have
that's
like
missing
a crazy series amongst like some of the guys were ditching contest in Chopu to do some contest in Ubatuba. So
I had
like they must
prior
be paid-
arrangements.
Yeah, prior arrangements.
Or had ankle injuries.
Yeah, prior arrangements.
So back in the sort of momentum
See that surf
era.
forecast? Occasionally your
Yeah,
ankle gets
but-
hurt.
I think for the most part, like, and just in general, the feeder system is pretty shaky. Like, I mean, it might be the most sketchy since I've been on tour that I've ever seen.
What's
So
the feeder? What's
Like
that?
just to
Like the how you feed the tour. Like, it's probably as small and as
Your bait. It's the East Coast thing.
Because back in the Bud
Feeder
Tour,
man.
America, guys like Kalani Rob and people like that qualified from their results just from the Bud Tour. There's a big enough series of events that they could qualify through.
You can do that in Brazil though.
Yeah.
You can qualify.
man.
You could like
my feeder
You're
spreads. The
thinking
pigs are
fishing,
coming.
dude. You're
No, I'm thinking
thinking
the
down
feeder
low.
that like sends the food out and the pigs come eat it.
Oh, sorry. You're going more deep East Coast right here.
It's gone now.
there's guys that could never even leave Brazil and make the tour.
Yeah.
Like, they could just compete there.
And that used to be the case with like the Bud Pro Tour in
Yeah.
America and stuff like that. They had a high enough ranking in some of those events that I think Kalani qualified through just those events. Maybe
No,
one
no.
event that
They
he
were
traveled
just
through.
national. They weren't even rated internationally.
No,
I
he
don't
had
think. PSAAs.
they were qualifying events.
I like how they make it now. How you have to perform to get onto the prime events, but if there's nothing there for you to perform on to get there, they just seem to be. There's a lot of time for those guys.
the timing of the contest in Brazil too makes it so that a lot of the top guys don't want to go.
Yeah.
Like there's 2
Yeah.
6-stars during the CTs.
Yeah.
And then there's like a
You think it's a timing?
no, and then there's a
Yeah.
prime in Saquarema before
You're
Hawaii.
bound to get like you're bound to
Yeah.
get like Florida quality waves when you go there. It's like if we had contests in
Dude,
Florida,
it's
I
either
wouldn't blame the
small and
timing.
terrible or huge and closing out.
I just think in general, like, they've been working on the top tier and then, trying to get that. So what's been affected is the QS system. I don't think there's a person on tour, the QS or the CT, that wouldn't agree that it's not the best system in place right now.
Well, it's not man on man for the most part, except for in the primes, and it's not a.
Even the
What are
primes
supposed
this
to
year,
be.
they were doing this stupid
Dude,
3-man.
how many-
I
And
lost in
the
3-man
locations,
I would have won that fucking thing. Such bullshit.
No, if you moved the Trestles contest to Huntington, you would have won.
Yeah, exactly. I went there every game.
It pretty much was like.
But it can be
this
better.
year.
They can make that better.
Yeah.
What are your goals? Like, I mean, if you're Dane, would you rather stay at home, make a great paycheck, surf your local spots all the time,
Emma Wood, bang.
put fun clips together, and like it would take him way more time away from the things he likes to do and enjoys the place he likes to be, and commitment of time, like just his time and his mind to go surf contests, and he wouldn't make any more money. It would just cost him a lot more time. Like he's sort of created like the perfect little environment. I think a lot of people probably
Would you say
coming
it's
up
perfect, or would you say it's a
No, I just-
snowball?
No, for him it's
Crap.
perfect. For him it's Dane. Just how he, he
I
just
mean, Dane's Dane.
he's a pro free surfer.
Yeah.
He surfs a couple contests here and there, more probably out of obligation at this point than out of anything. But
I think he likes it.
I think he likes.
Yeah.
I think he likes it now
think
and
he's
then
a
at
genius.
waves that he likes. But
he's just
he's
damn good.
yeah,
There's
no,
no way around it. Like
he gets to kind of focus on just surfing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like surfing and editing. And for him to make a better clip, he has to go surf a little better or do something bigger or whatever.
Yeah.
So America's got the best free surfer.
Yeah.
Hey-oh! Didn't think about that.
I wonder if that.
Put your button up on.
you guys
And
The
Dane's
world champion of free surfing is American.
You could easily argue Dane's the most influential surfer in the world in the last 10 years, 8 years or whatever. And his whole thing has been based on a website, free surf clips, making movies, having what for him is fun.
But I as a fan,
He competed
really
too,
want to
though.
see him compete more.
Somewhat,
I think there's
yeah.
a large, fan base that's
for
get him in
sure.
Jersey. We want to see him compete.
So do I feel the same way as you, but
Yeah.
it's not really. It just doesn't seem like his thing, I think he does like him sometimes.
I think a
but
lot of Americans don't like losing. I mean, no one likes losing, but I knew guys that were on the
Oh,
QS
so you're scared to fail.
that would lose
That's
a
what your
lot, and
problem-
they'd like have a good result and lose twice, and be like, I'm not going to do the rest of the contest.
I'm gonna
you
go
know?
go on a
But it's
photo
like, dude,
trip.
you're gonna lose. That's part of it. Like, I don't know. I think maybe it's a little bit. You win a lot. Like I remember winning a lot in freaking NSSA.
Look at
You get
Adriano.
on there and you're just getting smoked by
Guys been
Brazilians and
grinding on
whoever
each
that
other.
you don't even know who they are. So
David
it's a
Eggers.
reality check.
David Eggers is a classic case of one of the greatest ever amateur careers. Turned pro, fell off the map within a year. Like I think he turned pro at 16, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, he won everything! He was winning every pro contest he was surfing
Yeah.
until he was like 15." From like 12, he was winning 12 or 13. He was winning pro contests and beating like everybody. He was like Australia was like Jason Buttonshaw and Nicky Woods, and in America it was Eggers. And then when he turned pro, he just all the pressure, whatever expectation, he just fell apart. But he was a true contest machine, that guy too. Like as a kid, everything was about contests, and everything in their family's life was all about Dave going to contests, winning, and he was going to win everything. And then
I
turn
think
pro and
that
win
can
world
be a
champ.
lot of like that can be. You see these soccer moms and dads down at contests now, and that's part of the pressure where some kids know how to handle it and can do it, but I feel some obviously might turn the other way and not want to do it.
That's what I was kind of saying earlier. Is like I think some people like react to like losing differently.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of Americans like shun away from it after they have
Like
have
lose,
a
you
bad
lost
run.
and you're done. It's
Well,
like,
do you think it's
I
like-
love the like it's so cool to see like families supporting kids that want to go surf. I think it's awesome.
That's great.
But I hate the soccer moms and dads thing. Like one time I went up to the East Coast Championships, like in the mid-late 90s with my little brother, and he was just getting into surfing contests, and he didn't enter in time. And the guy who was supposed to send his entry in lied. He's like, I sent it and it never got there. But like Steven skipped school for a week, and he got there and he wasn't entered in the contest. And so like his buddy had to basically lie to get him in the contest. And then they let him in, and all these parents flipped out on the beach. You can't let him in. He didn't go by the rules and all this stuff. And they were all like fighting on they stopped the contest completely. And I was there. It was like when I was like, I think I was 3-time world champ at the time. And I was on the beach, and they were all stoked I was there. And then I was like, I like wanted to say something, and I'm like, no, I can't say anything because I'd be just like that, I'm like, okay, I'm going to step out of this. I'm going to let Steven handle it. And he goes in, he hands him his jersey back. He goes, that's all right, I'm not going to surf. And they're like, what? He's like, no, it's okay. You guys are upset. I'm just not going to surf. And they're like, well, no, you can surf. Like, no, you should.
Kill
He
them
goes,
with
no,
kindness.
he goes, no, I'm out of here. And he walked away. He left the jersey, walked away, and it was like, it showed like competition's healthy, but when you take it too seriously, especially in the amateur ranks, you need to like pull back.
You need that little push, the little drive, and like I know my dad didn't surf, but he would always be like, he was not pushy, but somewhat, and I know he's kind of dealt with it, and I see a lot of kids that are really good.
Can we
and
just
they
talk
still
about
do
Dino?
with it, No, Dino's like had an amazing career. He was a pro surfer, and I mean it's just everyone handles it different. Like.
Why don't you just do floaters all the time?
And
Dad did.
playbacks.
Double head whip turns.
Triple quadruple
Long
head
floaters.
playbacks. And we're
Get a
webs.
Mad Larry. Yeah.